With the Snipetron Vandal, all you need to build it is the barrel, the receiver, and the stock. You don't need resources, it just takes 12 hours. It's kind of like the Strun Wraith, the Carrack Wraith, the Dera Vandal. All it needs is the parts from the actual Sortie to be able to build these things. To get the actual blueprints and the parts, it'll appear in the sorties, kind of randomly. I haven't actually finished today's with 3 hours to go, so that's kinda sucks. The blueprint is the only part I actually wanted to be able to do this. This is why the Sheev one took so long, because, yeah, that's a whole different problem. But the blueprint's the first part I got to drop. And it's actually not a bad sniper rifle. I don't know what's going on with Frost here, he's just, he's a bit smoky at the minute. I think I'm being haunted by someone. Quickly looking through, and the Snipetron Vandal does seem to be the most puncture based one. I mean, if you want to get really technical about it, the Vectus Prime, I guess you could call that a puncture based sniper rifle, but it's got a lot more impact. It's got less puncture than the Snipetron Vandal. Vectus, it's more of an impact based, it's all a good all-rounder though. Same as the Vectus Prime, it's a better all-rounder sniper rifle than, say, the Volcar, which is basically impact, and the Wraith version, which is solely impact, ignoring the tiny little amount of damage it has on there. So the Snipetron came around, it was the original sniper rifle, this one. Then they kind of replaced it with the Volcar, removed the Snipetron completely, then had an event for the Snipetron Vandal, which was kind of weird. I think it was like the second event the game ever had. Can't remember the name of that offhand. But the Snipetron was a good sniper rifle. I actually missed it first time around. I had to build it when one of the blueprints came back. The blueprint for the normal Snipetron does come every now and then, but as you can see, the Snipetron Vandal was a huge improvement. It had 40 more puncture, 7.5 less slash and impact, but, and at the time it didn't really have any of this, but it had, the status wasn't a thing when the Snipetron Vandal came out. That was added later. It reloads quicker, it's got 2 rounds more in the magazine than the normal one, 2 times crit multiplier instead of 1.5, and 25% crit chance instead of just 20%, which made it quite a decent weapon. It only came with 1 V polarity. It's just, more than anything else, when it first came around, it was more the fact that the Snipetron had just been removed. And then there was a Vandal version. For that event, you actually got the blueprint for the Snipetron as well, which just made it weird, because that's how I was able to build mine. Because at the end of the event, you got that blueprint and the weapon. So you got the Vandal version and the normal version, which was really handy because it gave me a chance to actually play with the Snipetron, which is, I still kind of prefer it over the Volcar, but the Vandal version was much better because it just has, its fire rate isn't really the best, it's pretty slow. The two of them are exactly the same, but it's got a better reload speed, and it's just better really. I mean, if I remember rightly, the event the Snipetron Vandal came from is that one where you had to shoot the drones that messed up the mini-map. I can't remember what it was, kind of like the Moa one, but I can't remember if the Fusion Moa, that event was the Informant one, or whether it was the Informa event that actually gave the Snipetron Vandal. It could have been the third, going by that. The third actual event that they had. But the event itself was pretty fun. The weapon was pretty fun. I mean, unfortunately, when it came to modding it, the build I have is just downright crap without adding another V or so to this. Because basically all I did is I threw serration, split chamber in here, heavy caliber on a sniper rifle. I say this all the time, but it's a waste of time because sniper rifles work for range and accuracy. If you take that out, it just makes the weapon useless. So heavy caliber, don't bother putting it in here, it really messes with the accuracy. And then I went for point strike and viral sense, which give, I think the crit chance is 62.5, the multipliers 4.4, I kind of threw the corrosive on here with malignant force and high voltage. Then I put argon scope on because that whole 135% crit chance while aiming for 9 seconds on headshots, of course, actually works really well for crit primaries. Well, any crit rifle really. I'm still wondering if they're going to one day do a crit shotgun, or whether there is one and I just never realised it, because I think all mine are set up for status. I should probably look into that. But the corrosive of 1208, the puncture of 906, the empty slot I would probably dump in piercing caliber, because throw that on there and it will actually take the puncture from the 906.3 that build had up to 1993.9, while keeping all the rest of the stats. What I would like to do is put another crit mod on. I mean, throwing something in like critical delay will take the crit chance to 74.5, but it does lower the fire rate, which you could kind of counter by throwing the fire rate mod in that empty slot, which is the only reason I'm actually kind of doing this now instead of forming the hell out of it and then doing it, because there's a lot of different mods you could put into that spot for lots of different things. As I've already said, I will be putting in the piercing caliber mod because it adds nearly 1,000 damage to puncture. And obviously, if you do hit for a crit, 4.4 times multiplier on that is going to be 5,000 more crit damage, which is a hell of a lot. It isn't the best of sniper rifles. I mean, there is better ones. The Vectis Prime, probably still one of the better ones if you go for that whole one round hit thing. I'm trying to remember what the name of the mod is that did that. Depleted reload. So it takes away the magazine and then you put charged chamber on there, which adds the bonus damage to the first round in the clip, because it turns the Vectis Prime into a one round weapon like the Vectis. So the whole everyone complaining 2 rounds has ruined the weapon. Okay, you don't get the damage because you have to put another mod in there to kind of counter that, but it makes it a decent one. Plus it also gives it, I think it's 1619 puncture damage I've got on my Vectis Prime with that. But it's got a tiny little bit more crit, but unfortunately it's only got 2 times the crit multiplier, so I'm kind of torn between the two when I use them. The only time I tended to use the Snipetron Vandal is kind of when going to relays and showing off, because it wasn't a rare weapon. I see it more than I see most of the other Vandals or Wraiths or anything else, so it's not that rare of a weapon. It was just more the fact of, I know people who wanted it and I used to only use it when playing with them to kind of wind them up, because I had one and they didn't. As for it coming back, I'm kind of glad it's come back. Now I don't have to leave it tucked away so people don't get annoyed that I'm using it. I can actually start using it now, because I actually liked it when it came out and I kind of still do.